All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us at this Eurofusion FuseNet information session on student opportunities in Europe. So maybe we can start with a brief set of introductions with Dario, Mira, and myself. So I'm Eva Belonahi. I'm leading the training education activities in Europe for Eurofusion, and I'm going to explain in my presentation a little bit what is Eurofusion, which is this consortium across the European and the European countries to do future research, basically. But so I'm responsible to coordinate and monitor some of the education activities that I'm going to explain. And my background is in tokamak operations. So I'm particularly as a physics pilot on Aztec subgrade, MAST, and JET. I was also involved in JT6TSA. And I look forward to talking to you. Dario, do you want to go next?
Yeah, absolutely. So good morning, everybody. My name is Dario Cruz. I am the Executive Officer of FuseNet, and with Mira, that she will introduce herself later, both of us run the FuseNet Executive Office. So FuseNet, I see that some of you are already familiar with that. So FuseNet stands for the European Fusion Education Network. We are an association that encompasses around 63 members in Europe between universities, research centers, and companies. So our main goal is to promote and support fusion education in Europe. We work closely with Eurofusion, so we are a Eurofusion affiliated entity. So we are together leading the educational front, let's say, in Europe. And yeah, looking forward to talking to you and telling you about all the initiatives that we have at many educational levels. So yeah, looking forward to that. Mira, please.
Yeah, Mira, please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Mira van Nuenen. I work in the FuseNet Executive Officer. I'm mainly the financial officer, so I'm responsible for the budget control and all the student support applications we receive. So if you send in an application for student support, then you'll probably receive a lot of emails from me, and I will also process them. And I work together with Dario Cruz. Next to this student support, we also organize a lot of events, and I'm also, together with Dario, responsible for these events. But we will explain in the presentations more in detail about this.
Thank you very much, both. Yes, it's always a pleasure to work with both of you. We work very closely together, I would say, to kind of further the opportunities in Europe and kind of enable you, to do more. Okay, so I shall say for housekeeping that this session is recorded, as we mentioned before. If you don't want to show your face, please just, close the camera. You can ask questions by raising your hand, and you can ask questions also on the chat. Feel free to ask questions during the talk as well. There is no problem. We can discuss any information on the slide as it comes. And I think that's it. I shall probably get started, right? So. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start with a presentation, and then Dario and Mira is going to take over to also discuss the FuseNet activities with you. So let's get started. So as I said, I'm Eva Belonahi. I'm the training education manager at Eurofusion, and you can always reach us through this email address, education@eurofusion.org. Feel free to raise your hand, ask questions also during the slide, as I mentioned earlier. We'll try to monitor it on the other computer. All right, so let's first start on what is Eurofusion itself. So in Europe, we have a very coordinated research program for nuclear fusion, and particularly Eurofusion is a consortium of up to 200 institutes and universities, which all work together, and Eurofusion basically manages the joint program in Europe, integrates the research and development activities, but also the training education activities in Europe. And we are co-funded, so primarily funded by the European Commission. Eurofusion includes 29 countries. It includes members from each country. So there is a national laboratory usually in each country, which is the Eurofusion member, except for Germany that has 3. And each member then has affiliated entities, so connecting universities, laboratories, sometimes private companies as well, who we all work together. So Eurofusion is basically a consortium of about 200 institutes and universities in Europe to do nuclear fusion research together. And one of these entities is FuseNet. So we are funding FuseNet for the student activities, and we work very, very closely together. And we ask FuseNet to do outreach and student activities on our behalf. So we have all the countries of the European Union. We are under the Euratom, so the nuclear treaty, European nuclear treaty. We have more than 1,000 students in total in Europe, and we have around more than 5,000 fusion scientists, engineers, and support staff. We will share the slides at the end, and I also include links throughout the slides that you can click on in order to get access to the sites that I'm showing. So very briefly, what we are going to talk about today. Eurofusion includes 100 universities that are affiliated with Eurofusion. So likelihood, if you are doing any degree in Europe, your university related to fusion, your university will be part of Eurofusion. And we have over 800 PhD students currently. And we have way over the 200 master students. It's just they are underreported because the reporting is not mandatory, but optional. The reporting of the PhD student is mandatory because we are funding the research, the PhD student salaries and activities. So we have quite a good understanding of the PhD students, but not necessarily the master students. So what we are going to talk today is we are going to look at student opportunities. Particularly, Dario and Mira will explain the outreach and student activities, educational materials, support of internships, and participation in schools via FuseNet, and some of the workshops that we are doing. So this I will not go into very much in detail because Dario will give you a very clear understanding of the eligibility and the processes that are required to do so. I'm going to talk more about the financial support Eurofusion provides for PhD and master students and their supervisors. And I will talk about some of the applications that we have, both for the 2-year excellence postgraduate grant scholarships for researchers and engineers, and also about the JT60SA school, which is directly organized by Eurofusion. But I will provide links to also materials and other schools in case you would be interested. I'm also going to briefly discuss the launch of the new e-learning platform that we are developing. This is called the Fusion Education and Learning Hub. And the idea here is that we are creating an e-learning platform where we are hosting recorded university courses. So anybody will be able to get access to it, and you can basically attend recorded university courses from other universities. And we hope to develop a comprehensive curriculum of fusion starting from introductory lectures to very advanced niche topics in fusion. Because if we put all the lectures together that we have in Europe and internationally, I think we could get a very high level, high standard, high quality curriculum that you can choose also, which university you want to see. It does not have certification, but it gives you the ability to access the same content as the people at the universities. And I hope this will be a great opportunity for people who are not necessarily have access to a lot of courses on university courses on fusion. And then we also do a number of activities related to knowledge management. So this is just a brief overview of all the things we have. We are going to go way more into detail into some of it, but I thought it would be useful to get a kind of overview by kind of target audience, so to say, so by educational level. So as I said, anything that says we are FuseNet, we found FuseNet to do it for us. So Dario is going to talk about it. Particularly, I believe here we have bachelor student, master student, PhD students, and early career people. So for bachelor students, Dario will already say some of the opportunities there are for FuseNet. Master students, there are, of course, increasing number of opportunities, including the internship, participation in schools. We are also, through Eurofusion, contributing directly to the salaries and missions and training conferences for them that I'm going to show. And we have a repository of the master's thesis on the Eurofusion Pinboard. So we thought it would be a really good idea, perhaps, to collect all the master's thesis and PhD thesis in Europe, because you can search it in one place. So, and they usually have very good introductory sessions. So PhD student, we have the PhD day. Of course, we also contribute to the salaries that I'm going to explain. And that's where we start dealing more with the PhD student from the Eurofusion side. So we have the participation in JT60SA school as well. And then early career, we have this Eurofusion researcher grants and engineering grants, which are post-PhD and post-master degree. And then, as I already said, we have this e-learning platform, which is joined, and then we have repository for educational material. I should say right here that the Eurofusion activities are not connected to the nationality. They are connected to the affiliation. So anybody is welcome to apply. Whereas Fusion for Energy and ITER internship and activities are connected to nationality. So for the Fusion for Energy traineeships, Fusion for Energy is the European member in ITER. So of course, ITER, I think everybody already knows probably what is ITER. If you are doing fusion research, ITER is our first experimental fusion reactor in France. It's an international project. And you have to be a nationality of one of the partners in ITER, and Fusion for Energy, which is the European entity in ITER, you have to be a nationality of the European partners, right? So there is nationality requirement on the ITER and FOE side, but there's no nationality requirement on the Eurofusion side. So unless there are any questions so far, I'm going to go a little bit more into detail on some of these activities. So I thought it might be useful to also include some of the schools that are available in Europe. So this is a list that I'm aware of. There might be more. If you know more, please let me know. I will add it to the list. And there are links to the different schools as well. So these are the schools that are generally regularly organized in Europe. And particularly many of them are physics summer school, right? There is also funding through FuseNet or funding at the school itself. Some are free. The IPP summer school is free, but it has a registration process. Every second year it's either in Garching or is in Greifswald in Germany. Sumtrek is something that has funding in it. It's a very practical school. The registrations opened, I think, yesterday. So you are very much in time if you want to register. It's in Prague. It's a practical course where you are put into groups of researchers, kind of research groups for 2 weeks, and you do an actual research for 2 weeks, guided by a mentor. And in some cases, it even resulted in a paper publication, which can be very valuable when you're applying for PhD or for a grant. Having publications is always very, very useful. The International ITER School, of course, it's every year on a different topic. This year it's back in Aix-en-Provence. The JT60SA school I have a slide on because it's something we organize. It's a European-Japanese collaboration. You have to be affiliated to either a European entity or a Japanese entity in order to apply. Karlsruhe is one of the unique schools that are on technology, which is very rare. JT60SA has a physics, technology, and operations side, but Karlsruhe, I think, is the one of the only ones that are really focused on technologies. Then there is Kudova, there is also the plasma diagnostics one, and Fusion Port 2 is for everyone. I think it's in French. So any questions to the schools? Okay. So this is the JT60SA school. We organized the school in Japan for 2 weeks, and it's funded through Eurofusion. So the applications actually closed last week. We have a very high really high application number. So because we only accept 10 people from Europe and 10 people from Japan, it's a very small number of participants in the school, but it's a very very detailed training. And in addition to the 2-week training, which includes practical exercises as well, and of course visit of JT60SA, which is now the largest tokamak in the world, it also includes often includes a tour of Japan, which includes Rokasho with the IFMIF irradiation facility, IFROC supercomputer, and the Japanese demo. It includes visit of NIFS in Toki, right, which includes the LHD accelerator, and it also includes the University of Tokyo and Tsukuba. And then the Japanese students come to Europe and they get a visit of Garching, IPP, Fusion for Energy, and Eurofusion with Aztec Subgrade. And they get a visit of Cadarache with ITER and CA, so with the West Tokamak, and the visit of Kalam with JET and MAST-U. So it's quite a good school. I would encourage you, if you are interested, to apply next year. If you have any questions, please do let me know. I'm the scientific secretary of the school, so I organize the school from the European side. Each year there is a different topic. Last year it was JET-DT campaigns and the first commissioning of JT60SA. This year it's innovations in fusion, and next year it will be again something different, but there is a basic element that you can do. Yes, UK students are allowed to participate in any Eurofusion activity, but they are self-funded by the UK. So UK is a associated member of Eurofusion through IPP, so through the Max Planck Institute, and UK participants are allowed in any eligible for any Eurofusion activity, but the UK will have to self-pay. So we cannot transfer funding because of the political situation, but UKEA is very much part of Eurofusion, and we do, the activities are very much joint. So yes, if you have any questions about UK, feel free to let me know. And I'm happy to, I have, I have a UK background as well, so I can also direct you to people if you need to. But the UK is very strong also in education, and we are very happy to keep working with them. So as I said, any activity we do, the nationality doesn't, there is no nationality requirement. So there was a question whether Indian students can also apply. Our only requirement for the Eurofusion activity is that you are affiliated with the Eurofusion Institute or university. So we have about 200 institutes in Europe, and you have to be affiliated with one of them. So that's the eligibility requirement, not a nationality. Okay. Okay, next, again, just a list of content. Once I finish, maybe I will just copy it into the chat as well, that you have the links immediately. We have two excellent repositories for seminars and books on fusion. One is made by ITER called Infused, and the other one is by FuseNet, the FuseNet Education Materials repository. So these two are excellent if you want to take a look at also shorter or longer seminars, and also books in fusion, so any education material they collect. Okay, and also there are recorded courses. So there is a massive online learning course provided by EPFL on edX. If you are new to fusion and you want to learn plasma physics, there are two courses there that you can do. The Princeton course has also been recorded and available online. And I believe also these computational physics courses are now recorded and available online if you are interested. If you are new to fusion, one of the best books I can recommend is this book called Focus on JET. It's a introductory material on what is a tokamak and what are the different tokamak elements, and it can be understood, I would say, at a high school or a bachelor level of physics or engineering, and it gives you a very good understanding what are the different components and the naming convention and why we do what we do. So I can highly recommend that book. It's available as a PDF on the Eurofusion site, or I will also provide you the link. The other book that was recently created is by IEA, was prepared by the European co-authors led by Guido van Oost. It's the Fundamentals of Magnetic Fusion Technologies, and it's quite unique because usually we don't have a textbook on fusion technology. We have a lot of books on physics, on plasma physics. Yes, very good. Thank you, Dario. It was a very long collaboration between the European authors to provide a textbook in technology. So this is very unique. For tokamaks, Weston, of course, is one of the standards, I would say, that everybody goes through and we can recommend, but there are also a lot of other books. So there is a question, what are the available opportunities for non-EU students who graduated from a university FuseNet member? So we don't, so particularly Dario can maybe answer, but from my side, from the Eurofusion side, we don't look at your history. We are just interested whether you are currently enrolled in a Eurofusion entity or university. As I said, if you are affiliated to somewhere in Europe and you are not a private company, I think 99% sure that you are affiliated to Eurofusion, I would say, right? But we can confirm this to you if you tell us what you are affiliated to. If you changed and you went outside, then you are no longer eligible for funding from Eurofusion, but you can still access this e-learning platform, which will be publicly accessible anywhere in the world through LinkedIn accounts. Dario, do you want to comment?
Yeah, perhaps a comment on I still haven't explained the activities of FuseNet for master students, but for master students, if you graduated from a FuseNet member or the Fusion member institution university, you can still apply for FuseNet internship support within the 6 months after your graduation. So the internship that you will perform has to start within those 6 months, but beyond those 6 months, then it's the same case as Eva. Then we delete the history, and you are only eligible if you are part of a Eurofusion member institution, university, or a FuseNet member. So yeah, I think master students have these 6 months of leverage, but other than that, it's the same situation as Eurofusion. Yeah.
So I just repeat that we do not care about your nationality. We don't look at the nationality whatsoever. Yeah. So we are completely open from any country in the world, as long as you want to come and study and work in Europe, right? That's it. And we do have some opportunities also for people who are not working in Europe, like the e-learning platform. But we are only interested in what institute you are affiliated to, whether it's in Europe or not. We also have some collaborations, of course, with with people, internationally that we can also discuss. Okay, any other questions? Okay, so I think there's a lot of confusion whether we are funding PhDs and how we are funding PhDs and master students. So there is funding for master student internships and participation in education opportunities through FuseNet, which Dario will explain. But I want to just stress that we are funding or co-funding master students and PhDs, so master student up to 1 year and PhD student up to 5 years through Eurofusion. And this is something is a big part of the budget, I would say. We provide personal costs or salary cost of PhD and master student if applicable. Also personal costs or salaries for mentoring, so for supervisors. We provide funding for travel costs, conferences, equipment, goods and services at different funding rates. So Eurofusion is a co-funding kind of consortium. So we receive funding from the European Commission. And we, for example, when it comes to salaries, we fund 70% of the salary. When it comes to missions, we fund 70% of the mission cost, right? So there it has to be a 30% that is provided by the national funding or some other funding sources, right? So we don't have a call for PhDs. The PhDs and the master student theses are handled by our institutes, so by the 200 institutes that we have. And we fund the master and PhD students through the institute. So you don't see us necessarily because the institute takes care of the costs and kind of the reimbursement as we do, but we are funding kind of these activities. There is a budget ceiling, of course, because we have a set budget for each year, which is, I would say, quite large, one of the largest budgets in Eurofusion. And then the different members, so the different countries we can reimburse them up to that ceiling. So we also have a list of the universities that are offering master and PhD programs in Fusion. We have this list every year that we collect, and I will be looking at how to share this with you. I have the list. It has to be submitted to the European Commission each year, so we have done it in January. And after the meeting, I can submit this. I expect that I can send this to you if there is interest, but also I can stay after the meeting and we can discuss which countries you are interested in. We can discuss some of the master programs that we have, or there is even a bachelor program in Fusion if there is interest. Yeah. So I propose that we go through the talks and then we come back to these topics. I can also discuss some of the masters that we are aware of and also some of the PhD programs, including the Erasmus Mundus Fusion EP, which is across, I believe, 5 countries. Okay, there are also some of the PhD positions available on the FuseNet website where they are advertised, but not all of them. But if you are interested in a particular topic, you are welcome to talk to us. We can give you contacts and also which institutes to to contact. And also we have a very detailed list of the engineering requirements, engineering competencies and skills we want to develop, which is part of the Eurofusion engineering grant applications. And there you can see for each topic which are the institutes that are interested. So you can basically use it as a master list if you are looking for a PhD. You can see which topic you are interested in, and there is a list of the institutes, the countries that do that particular topic and that are interested to have students there. So we do have this list, and I can show it at the end of the session where to find it. It's available online. So as I said, we don't provide scholarship for the PhDs directly. We provide funding for the PhDs through the institute. So you get a PhD in a university or a research lab, and that lab will do the costing with us. So you don't kind of see it's a Eurofusion scholarship. That's not the case. We will pay for every PhD student, basically up to the ceiling that we have. Yeah, and this is done already automatically and jointly by the members, so by the institute, by the national laboratories. So you don't have to do anything, but we are funding PhDs through these members. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I can also stay a bit longer if there are interest, and we can discuss individual cases one by one. And as I said, I have the list. I can also, we can open it, and if there are interest, I can go through what are the master programs that are currently available or PhD programs that are currently available in Europe that are focusing directly on fusion. Yes. Okay. So then one of the applications we do handle is the application to Eurofusion grants. So each year we have a grant program, which is a 2-year, basically a funding, an individual funding for early career people to do an individual research project for 2 years, defined by them. Anybody can apply, any nationality can apply. You have to find an institute that is happy to hire you and employ you for the duration of these 2 years and to mentor you and support you in this project, right? So we have 2 types of grants. We have the researcher grants and the engineering grants. The researcher grants are within 2 years of the PhD. Yeah. So you have to have the PhD defense completed in order to be eligible to apply, and the date of the defense has to be within 2 years of the application deadline. And you can define your individual research project, and you get about 30,000 euros to travel, both to train yourself, but also to travel to connect with collaborators, learn from them, work with them together. You can go up to 3 months somewhere, but you can go multiple times 3 months. So it's not a kind of a total 3 months limit. And we really encourage people to visit as many of the groups working on the topic as possible. You can go to internationally, you can go to the US, you can go to Japan, you can go pretty much anywhere. You can go to ITER. It's really to support excellent people who are early careers. This researcher grant application has now closed yesterday for starting next year, so for the grant starting next year. However, the Eurofusion engineering grants will open this month. There will be probably 1 to 2 months for applications. And these are for people who have a master degree in engineering, in some type of engineering, right? So there is no specific thing. And the master degree has been completed within 6 years of the application. We are probably going to extend for new masters who are finishing this year. We will probably allow a later completion, so to basically allow people to apply who finished the master this year. So this is again an excellent opportunity. There is a list of topics that we are interested in and competencies that we are interested in, which are around 50. And each list also includes the institute that is interested to hire or to train people. So this is a really good resource I can show you at the end of the session on how to do that. And what are the topics that we are interested in, what are the high-profile topics. And this list is also always checked with ITER and with Fusion for Energy. So there's a lot of opportunity here. Again, 2 years, you can define what you want to research, and you have a engineering training program, and you also have a 30,000 euros to travel. Yes, anybody is eligible to apply who finished a master degree within 6 years, in the last 6 years, and who will be employed by a Eurofusion member. That's the eligibility, right? So yes, absolutely, anybody's, any country, anyone from anywhere is happy to. We are happy for them to apply, as long as you found an institute who is happy to hire you for the duration of the grant in Europe. Okay. So so the deadline has passed for the researcher grant. You can apply next year. So this is every year. And for the engineering grant, the deadline will be probably in July, will be the deadline for applications. Okay, so this is a yearly annual thing. Yes, the slides will be available at the end after the presentations. Okay, so let's move on. These are general remarks. I already mentioned this a few times. We do not have any nationality requirement in Eurofusion, but you have to be affiliated with Eurofusion Institute. Eurofusion research, there was a few questions, so I'd edit this slide. Few European research is coordinated into 22 research topics, which are called work packages. And we basically have open calls for proposals, for experiments, for example, or topics, and for participation in activities by anybody affiliated to Eurofusion. Also, international collaborators are welcome to propose experiments, and anybody can be part of an experiment team if selected and offered by a Eurofusion institute. But the hiring for the master, PhD staff position are all handled locally. We can provide you contacts, and we can provide you also information which institute do what. But this is a website where you have all the list of the Eurofusion members, national laboratories with the links. I will provide the links in the chat after my presentation while Dario is talking, so that you can have immediate link to the links. So you have to find your institute yourself for the engineering grant. We have a list of the topics and the institutes that are interested, and then you can contact the institute yourself. We can also help you provide contacts. Yes, I will show you where the list of the engineering skills list is. If you click on this link here, it will be there in the Eurofusion engineering grants, but I will show at the end of the seminar. Okay. So I will go through this very quickly. It's just that we work a lot on nuclear fusion workforce development, both within Europe, but also with international partners in the US, Japan, ITER, IEA. And we have a number of surveys on the human resources and what we are planning to do to develop them, and also on the educational programs that can be available. That might be interesting. So I have a link at the end, how to access the workforce development survey. And I think this is one of the maybe most interesting things for you, is that we noticed when we do the education programs overview that there is a lack of access and availability of fusion courses in some countries. So in the green countries, there is at least one master or a PhD program which is solely focused on fusion. Not every university, but there is at least one university that does that. In the yellow countries, there is no master or PhD program solely focused on fusion, but there is at least a few fusion courses, maybe one fusion course or maybe 3. Right? And in some countries, there is nothing. And this is why we decided to create an online learning platform where we are not going to give you a degree, but we are going to give you access to the university courses on fusion available across Europe. So there will be recorded courses, there would be also online lectures, and there will be a set of databases. And we would be very interested to have your support, what you are interested in. I'm also going to upload the list of master and PhD programs available in Europe here, and also the list of the topics, including the institutes that are interested in doing that, onto this website. So this is currently under development. The first phase has been completed, setting up the page and setting up the 11 courses from 3 universities as a test. We are now in phase 2, where we are going to expand the course content to different universities, and also not just from Europe, but also internationally. And we have a beta testing program. If you are interested to apply, you can apply through this link, and you will have early access to the platform, which is still in development. And we would very much welcome your feedback, but also we would be able to give you early access to some of the courses. The current courses that we have are from EPFL, so from Switzerland, from the University of Sapienza, and from IST in Portugal. And they have introductory courses in fusion for engineers and scientists. We have plasma physics 1, 2. We have fusion engineering, both from Sapienza and EPFL. We have parallel computing for fusion diagnostics. And we are going to now upload the course on tokamak operation, which will be presented at the SOFIE conference. And we hope to launch this website with a set of courses mid to late 2025, but you're very welcome to apply already. Okay. So very briefly, we do knowledge transfer, which is basically how do you capture experience and how you transfer it. So we do a number of things. We are writing a textbook on how ITER was designed. So it's called the ITER Engineering Design Handbook, which should be potentially available next year. And it basically describes by the designers of ITER how ITER was designed. So this is primarily for engineers of the different plant systems. What are the lessons learned, best practices, what went wrong in some cases. So this will be a very interesting textbook. This is done on request by ITER, but it's done by Eurofusion. And we have also committees of practice on operational topics in addition to task forces in Europe. We are doing the training education as with the e-learning platform, and we are going to be looking at tools and accessibility. Again, there's a strategy that is available for you to look at. And this is the end of my talk. These are the main contact details. So there is the reports that you are welcome to read. There's the roadmap to realization of fusion energy. So this is basically the program in Europe for fusion. There is the human resource survey and workforce development is what we are doing, what the people we have now and what we want to have. This includes also the list of the topics, of the engineering topics that we are interested in. And there is also the knowledge management strategy that you can develop from that you can download from this link. So yeah, if you know of resources that you have online, please send it to us. I will check if you already have it on the list, but we really want to have a good comprehensive list of topics. We do have very detailed theoretical physics. So particularly EPFL has the plasma physics 1 and 2, which is you would get exactly the same access as the EPFL students, to the courses. It's just you don't have the interaction with the professor. But we might be able to get an office hour maybe with them. But basically you get both the recording, the exercises, the slides, everything as an EPFL student would get on the online. And this is already on the e-learning platform. Yes, UK students are eligible for the Bernard Bigot and the engineering grants, but it has to be paid by UKA. So it has to be paid by the UK National Lab. But yes, absolutely, you are very much eligible to apply. Okay, other questions? Yes, we would very welcome for people to come and give us feedback on what are the type of courses they would like to have. We actually have the list of fusion courses in Europe because we collect it as part of the annual reporting. So we also have not just a list of the universities that do master and PhD programs, we also have the list of the courses they provide, right? So I think this is really important to see what are the type of courses who provides. You can send us feedback through these emails, education@eurofusion.org, or apply on the form, the link on the beta tester program for the e-learning platform. You can also then provide feedback through that project if you are interested. We would very much welcome feedback. So I think there are a few people for superconducting coils. There is a very, of course, strong research interest for superconducting coils. And we do have a number of countries in Europe that are interested in developing them, including, I believe, CA, so France, Italy as well. But we can give you some more details on that if you, later on. You don't need to enroll the course. The e-learning platform will be open to everybody when it launches, but currently we have a beta testing program that you can apply for, and I'm going to put the link into the chat. Oh, so you want to work in Eurofusion Program Management Unit? Then we would have to discuss it outside. But the Fusion EP alumni, I think, is very commonly really they are excellent people, and they kind of continue either within research to get higher positions or within the management. but we can discuss. But I think the training education office, you might mean the program management unit, which is managing the Eurofusion consortium, that we can discuss later. Okay, if there are no questions, I think I propose to hand it over to Dario. Maybe one more. So we can look at afterwards on the list of the PhD programs in Europe. We can discuss it. I propose to do it after. Dario, I hand it over to you now, and then I go ahead.
Thank you very much. So I hope you're seeing my full screen. Yeah, so thank you, Eva, for the nice explanation, and thank you, Eva, for the attendance and for the introduction about FuseNet. So this presentation, we're going to be sharing the screen time between Mira and myself. And what we want to do here is to show you briefly what are the FuseNet initiatives for students. Like Eva more or less already mentioned how it is divided, how we deal with students between Eurofusion and FuseNet. So let's say that FuseNet focuses more on the master students and some activities for bachelors and even for secondary school, primary, and some special activities for the PhD events, for the PhD students, sorry, but mainly PhDs and grants for postdoc research and everything is mainly organized by Eurofusion. So we try to be complementary to one another, trying to cover as much as possible activities for students. So this is a quick overview of what FuseNet does. I'm not going to go through all of it because here we try to put everything, and this is mainly for you students, several levels of education like bachelor, master, PhD. I think that's mainly of the audience here. But just a quick glance of what we do. Like I mentioned at my introduction, FuseNet is the European Fusion Education Network. We are a network of around 65 member institutions between universities, research centers, and companies. Our goal is to coordinate and promote fusion education in Europe, and we do this promotion and supporting fusion education in Europe through several activities during the year. So activities involving, as I said, multiple levels of education. Mainly we focus on master students, the mobility and support for internships and educational events. Mira will talk more about it, but we also have several events, as you can see on the list. We have the PhD event, the master event. We organize some mini workshops with the institutions themselves for the students. We also work with secondary school teachers. We link with the different partners, so we try to bring also industry into our activities, and I'll discuss later more about that. Of course, Eurofusion at the center of it. So we try to be a network that encompasses education all around Europe. So today we're gonna focus mainly on a few special items, and something I mentioned because I couldn't put everything in the presentation because it's a bit short the time, and I don't want to bore you too much with info. But one thing to mention that I know is not in the slides is that we have available educational materials. Eva already mentioned this. So if you go to the FuseNet website, we have a repository of materials. We also have a YouTube channel where there is some recordings of our events, but also some other activities as well. And also we have in a website a list of current programs that you can join for master, for bachelor, and even for PhDs in Fusion. So it is not the full list, because these programs are uploaded by our members. So our members contact us and they want to advertise it in the FuseNet webpage. So it is not the full one, but at least there is some programs mentioned there. So if you're interested in following Fusion in Europe, joining a program, you can always check the FuseNet website for info, because we have that available. And I think without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Mira, because Mira's going to explain the most important part of FuseNet, let's say where we spend most of our budget, and that is the student mobility for master students. So Mira, please go ahead.
Hello. My name is Mira van Nuenen. I'm mainly responsible for the student mobility, and FuseNet is having student mobility. It's mainly for master students. So we do financial support for Fusion internships in Europe and also abroad. So if you are in an FuseNet or Eurofusion affiliated entity, you can go on an internship within Europe, but also all over the world. Then also we have support to attend an educational event. which is mainly in Europe. And we provide support, which is based on partly travel support and partly subsistence support. So that will cover your traveling to the event or to the internship, and which will cover partly your subsistence, so your stay in that place. Of course, FuseNet gives support, and it's not a complete coverage of all the costs. Next, yeah. If you want to use some support from FuseNet and you want to check if you're eligible for the FuseNet support, you can check the FuseNet website, and in the terms and conditions you can read it because there are all the details in there. And mainly what's really important, which we check, is that your subject is Fusion relevant and is within the Fusion roadmap, and that you are that your university or institute is one of the FuseNet members. So this is really important. And also you have to write a good summary of the subject you want to do in an internship, so we can check that if it fits altogether. You apply through the form that's on the website. That's quite easy. It asks you mainly all the questions we need. Use your institute email, which is very important, instead of your Gmail. Otherwise, I have to ask this question. And then the email will be sent to us, and we will check your application if it's eligible or not. And you will get a confirmation for that before you go to the educational event or internship.
Perhaps one last detail to add on that, Mira, thanks, is that since I see many students here interested about being non-EU and how to participate, this is also follows the Eurofusion plan. So we can only fund internships or travel to educational events to students who are registered in a university coming from a Eurofusion member state. So that's mainly Europe plus UK and Switzerland. So that's important. So we can internships and special internships can be done abroad. So we can send students from Europe abroad, but we cannot take students from abroad to Europe, and that's important. But like Eva highlighted, it's not about the nationality, it's about the affiliation. So we have to make sure that you are registered in a university from Europe. Yeah.
Maybe to add to that as well is that even if you're a Fusion EP student, you can apply for funding with FuseNet. But if you already receive an Erasmus grant for your internship, we cannot double fund you. So FuseNet support and Erasmus Plus funding for an internship cannot be combined. That's also really important to know. Next slide.
Yeah.
Okay, then FuseNet also has the opportunity to win a Master Thesis Prize. Every year we have the Master Thesis Prize applications open. At this moment, the 2024 Master Thesis Prizes are going to be checked because we received until the end of February all theses done in the year before. And we will pick the 3 or 5 based on how many applications we received, winners of 2024, and it will be announced really soon. I think the end of June will be ready. Mainly we will tell this in the EPS conference, and then we will announce the winners, and also of course on the FuseNet website. Every year we do this now for the 3rd or 4th year even, and yeah, this quality is really excellent, so we are very happy that we can do this. Then we also have a student event. This was previously called the master event, but because we found that a lot of bachelor students were also very interested in the subjects in Fusion that we cover, we want to have it open for bachelor and master students, because then we can reach a broader audience and also inform bachelor students how to maybe join a master in Fusion later on during their career. And last year we had 350 registrations for the student event. We always have the student event in November. This year we will have it by the end of November again. So if you want to be informed about this, subscribe to the FuseNet newsletter, where you will be informed about all those events. we had very lovely keynote speakers from all kinds of institutes, as you can see on the slide, from Eurofusion, Max Planck, IAEA, Oxford University, and also TUE. We had a nice panel discussion with startups, and we had a virtual ITER tour, which was also really received very well. And we always discuss the student experience of our students who went on an internship abroad, so they can explain to you how they experienced to do the internship in another country, and what they learned there, not only for Fusion, but also on personal grounds. Next slide.
I think I take it from here. Thank you very much,
You can
Mira.
take it over. Okay.
Yeah. So we will. So we also continue with some other activities. Also, I saw in the chat that somebody asked about how can we find these internships. So what we try to make it at FuseNet is in our website. We have what we call a matchmaking browser. So how it works is that we ask our members, FuseNet member institutions, to upload their open positions in our matchmaking browser. So then we make the connection. The students can look for this page, and then they can connect directly with the institution. So we are just kind of the intermediary making the link. But this list really depends on whether the institution wants to upload it or not. So there, of course, there may be more opportunities around, and not all of them are listed in our website. That would be ideal. But just in any case, for students interested in internships, I think it's better to go directly asking to the institutions and knowing a topic that you kind of like, and then just go ask directly for the institution, especially for internships or master students, because not all of them are publicly advertised. But always have a look at the FuseNet website to see if there is something available for you. Otherwise, just contact the institutes directly. But we have this available. You can check it out. There is different levels. Then I mentioned the PhD students. So we have mentioned that PhD students are mainly funded through Eurofusion and to their institutions that where they carry out their research. But there is one event that we organize from FuseNet to the PhD students. So that is the FuseNet PhD event. And that is, I think, the only live event that we organize for students. So this is organized every year. The idea behind the PhD event is that we want to invite as many Fusion students doing their PhD in Europe as possible, to invite them there to have a networking event where they're able to present their research to their peers, but also they're able to talk to other PhDs that are in Europe and try to strengthen in the network of students. We organize it, we call it the PhD event because FuseNet provides accommodation and catering during the whole event. So the PhD students who are organized, who want to go to the event, they don't have to pay a fee. So this is an event is without fee. And the accommodation is taken care by FuseNet, as well as the catering during the whole event. The only thing the institutes where the students are doing their PhD, what they have to provide is the traveling. So arriving to the venue is what the institutions have to cover. But once the student arrives to the venue, everything else is covered by FuseNet until the departure back of the student. So this is an event. This is the event that we had last year, very nice, at Stuttgart University, where usually the feedback is always really good from the participants. So they were quite happy about it. We always have high participation, typically 100 even more students per year from multiple countries. We also, of course, provide them with a full program, scientific program, including scientific visits, but also social program in itself, because this is a networking event. So we are looking forward to the event this year, because this year is going to be at ITER itself. So the event this year is going to be from the 4th to the 6th of November. 4th to the 6th of November at ITER. We'll be already posting on our website about save the date. We will open the registration site probably in the upcoming month, latest than that. And yeah, please, all PhD students, we're looking forward to have a high attendance, because it's not every time that you can get the chance to go to ITER to have this nice event. Am I missing something, Mira, for this?
The registration will probably be opened beginning next week.
Okay, then it's earlier than before. Things come earlier in Fusion, you see. Okay, so this is for the PhD event. Looking forward to that. There is a new activity this year, because as we have mentioned, there is a lot of coverage for master students all over the years from FuseNet, PhD students also taken care of by Eurofusion and us by the events. We work a lot with secondary school teachers and so on and so forth. But for bachelor students, there was a lack of engagement. We, for several years, didn't have much to do with bachelor students, and bachelor students are an important part of the Fusion ecosystem. That's an important part of your career when you want to decide where to go. So we started last year by opening the master event, becoming it a student event, opening for bachelors. But now this year we came with a pilot program, and that's a hackathon for bachelor students. So this is a new program, still not fully advertised. So you're going to have the premiere more or less of how it's going to look like. Of course, we will open full registration soon. But the idea of it is that we're going to have it's going to be in two phases. So the first phase is going to be a remote phase where we want students, bachelor students from at the moment, Eurofusion member universities. That's the thing. So at the moment, we want students from bachelor institutions that are Eurofusion in the Eurofusion member countries doing their bachelor, having this team of 2 to 3 people. We want the students to provide, to create a 2 to 3 minute video on a specific Fusion topics that we will provide. So we will tell this list of topics you can choose to make your video. And the idea behind it is that we want to have this clip to be equally scientifically accurate as well as visually engaging, because bachelor students, you already have a background. We wouldn't expect too extensive in Fusion, but you already have a background, or you're developing your own background in science, engineer, or any affiliated topic. So we want to have this video with proper sound, scientific data. If you need access to a mentor, we can provide you that. So we can work together, and if you need access to a mentor who can tell you more, who can tell you where to look, what to do, we will help you with that. And that's going to be the first phase. So that's going to be remotely. We will select like the most the videos that we like the most, and then there will be a second phase where selected teams out of this phase will travel to Madrid, and that would be mainly in December. So we expect it to be at the beginning of December. That's because we want to do a live Fusion workshop there. So we are engaging with a couple of companies in Fusion, and then we're going to do kind of a live workshop there in Madrid. And also, you will have, as the students who are going to be there are going to have the opportunity to attend to the Big Science Industry Forum Spain, which is a 2-day conference involving Fusion, but not only. So all the big science efforts that I'm doing in Spain. So we're the competition, let's say the workshop is going to be held at this venue, and then the teams who are going to be there are going to have access to this conference. And then we will decide also with the companies who are participating in this on if there are additional prices or other things to keep the engagement in Fusion. So we will give you more details on this. But like I said, this is a pilot program, and we hope it is successful. So maybe we can keep it for the coming years, becoming a recurring event, like most of the FusionNet events that we have done already for several editions. One important thing to say is that please follow us on social media. And this is not because we're getting engagement or we're getting revenue from Instagram or YouTube. This is mainly because that's where we advertise our initiatives. So for example, this bachelor event, we will advertise it through our social media. We'll advertise it mainly on Instagram. We use Instagram a lot, but of course, everything goes simultaneously. So when we advertise on one social media, we do it on the same. Like I mentioned earlier, we have a YouTube channel where we have some information available, also recordings of our events, even some educational video about Fusion there that was produced in collaboration with ITER and a UK filming company. Also important to say, visit our website, because we post there events. There is a calendar of events. There is the links to the different Fusion programs. And also important is that for you to know that we have a newsletter. So Fusion has a monthly newsletter where we more or less highlight the things from the month, or also activities that are going to be upcoming, deadlines and stuff like this. To register to the newsletter, you should just go to the website of FusionNet, create an account, and that's really easy. We only ask you like five fields of information, and then when you're creating your account, you have a tick box that says that you want to join the newsletter. So this is the way to get the FusionNet newsletter. But again, do that, and also follow us on social media, because this is where we post most of the information for the students in itself. Yeah. So I think that's it. That's my end of my presentation. So any questions, anything, you can always contact us at FusionNet through the website, or yeah. So I give the word back to you, Eva, if you're available still, or otherwise we continue with questions. Let me see.
Yeah, sorry, I
Yeah.
was looking at the messages.
Yeah, thank you. I see that you're doing a great job in the chat, so thanks for
Yeah.
that.
I think there was a question whether people can apply for the PhD even before they start the PhD. So I'm guessing they will start in September, PhD, because that's usually when it starts. And can they already apply?
That really depends on how early they do, because so let's say that we give priority to the students who are already enrolled in a PhD, but there is the possibility that if you already know what is going to be your topic and how are going to be the research lines, there is also the possibility to apply, but you will not be given priority. But please apply and tell us that, okay, I'm doing my PhD starting this, and what are going to be my topics. Because one thing about the PhD event is that all the attending students have to present their work. So there is no, everybody goes there, they have to either present a poster or they have to present another presentation in a special format, which is called Pechacucha. You will know more about later when we post, when we create the registration page. So all the students have to contribute. So if there is a student who hasn't started PhD, his or her PhD, but already know what are going to be the research lines, and they can also tackle this in a poster or a presentation, then it's also good, and they could attend if we have enough space, because then this is a networking event. They will also meet with other students who actually have already been working on this topic, and that's a nice way to make connection with their peers who have been already more advanced in the research and give you some hints. So this is why we foresee the possibility of having students not already started, but at least you should have the confirmation that you're going to start, and then you should be able to present something. Yeah.
There is a question on the chat whether bachelor students are eligible for funding for education events. So not through FuseNet, because FuseNet starts at the master level, but there might be schools where you can get funding through the school. And for example, SumTrek is something that is funded through the Czech laboratory. So that's possible. I think there is funding for everybody there. So you can apply to SumTrek, and which was shown, which is in part of the links. And I think that's it. There must be also other yes, an IPP. The IPP summer course in Garching and Greifswald are free, and I think they might also provide some accommodation. But there's a selection, so you can apply for. So check the schools for the eligibility, because there might be always different requirements. But some also provide funding to attend, but not through FuseNet for bachelor students. I hope you do a master, and then you would be very welcome to do an internship with us. Yes, UK is a associated member through Max Planck Institute of Eurofusion. So Eurofusion, so UK is part of it, but not a kind of the main member. It used to be, but with the political situation, they left Euratom, so they are now not a full member of Eurofusion, but they are an associated member. So I think the important bit is that UK staff and people can still apply and participate in Eurofusion as before. The only difference is that UK has to fund the activities themselves. So we cannot provide funding to the UK. Opportunities to do with master thesis. So one of the ways you can use internships actually is to do a master thesis. So we had really excellent cases where people applied to FuseNet for an internship of 6 months, and they used it in order to write a master's thesis, in collaboration with another institute. And this can be, for example, the Demos Central team in Garching, so in Eurofusion. It can be also in ITER. So there are other opportunities as well. You can go to Japan, you can go to D3D, Princeton, there are a lot of opportunities, or you can stay in Europe. So that's, I would say, one of the best ways to use an internship is to write a master thesis during the visit. Can you specify your question, Fasi? Did we answer it, or do you have some specific question on? Okay, very good, thank you. Are there any questions we missed?
Sorry.
If possible, I would like to give a moment to Christian Avanzato. He would like to mention something for FuseNet.
Okay,
Hi.
and I will show the list of the engineering topics that you are interested in and what are the institutes that are interested in them. Okay, Christian, please go ahead.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Christian, and I am part of the Student Council of FuseNet. And like I wanted to advertise the possibility to join the FuseNet Student Council to everyone here. We are PhD and master students from all over Europe, and we work on the organizations. We help on the organizations of events from the FuseNet side, as the PhD event, the master event. For example, now over the past year, we tried to include bachelor students in the projects, and we are working on it with Mira, Dario, and the other FuseNet members. And yeah, so we are currently soon opening new positions for the student council, and we would like to have as many applications as you can. So the duration of the student council is 1 year plus 1 year extended. And if you are a master student or a PhD student, you are welcome to join us. And yeah, can be really good for you to join the student council to broaden your knowledge of the different institutes over Europe, and talk with different institutes, and be able to give your contribute to the FuseNet website and the FuseNet events. So please send an application to the mail that you can see, I think, on the slides. But Dario, I don't know if you can write it on the chat. I mean, not the mail of FuseNet. So if you have any question, and if you want to know how to apply, you can send an email to the email on the chat. But we also will post on social media how will you be able to join the student council and apply. Yeah, thank you for this moment.
Thank you, Christian.
So there is a question on online. Being part of the student council, is it an on-site job or a remote job?
It is remote. We have a meeting usually every 2 weeks, and in the meantime we work on ideas and have other meetings separately. And we have one meeting in person every year. We had one the last week. We went the last month, sorry. We went to Eindhoven to have a quick chat and a meeting all together. So it is really good to have this opportunity. And but yes, during the year you can work from home, and you can just think about the opportunities that you can give to FuseNet community.
Usually, maybe to work on that, and also on the live meeting. Usually, the live meeting of the student council typically takes place during the PhD event. So we invite them, all the students, regardless of their master or PhD, to the event from the council. So yeah, but like Christian said, we had a special meeting a couple of weeks ago here in Eindhoven, because yeah, we work closely this year with the student council. So we're developing so many initiatives that we required an extra meeting, live meeting, but usually the live meeting with the student council goes during the PhD event. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you are a master student, you can join the PhD event like in an extraordinary way. So it is really good for you to to be on the PhD on the student council if you're a master.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. So let me just show you quickly the list of the engineering topics that we have been discussing. So I provided the link already in the chat and also on the slides. So this is last year's application to the Eurofusion Engineering Grants. As I said, the applications for next year. So, you apply this year and you start next year. So the 2026 Eurofusion Engineering Grants will open later this month. And it always has a list of the competency areas here. So this is an Excel file, which is very valuable, very interesting. These are all the topics that in the fusion engineering we are currently interested in. So these are all the topics, the competencies, which are the mandatory topics, right? And there are some example research topics that we are interested in, someone, wanting to do, right? Or there is interest. So you were asking about high temperature superconducting coils. There are quite a few here, for example, right? So there's superconducting coils that are requested, right? And then in this file, you have the list of the beneficiaries, so beneficiaries members. So these are the national laboratories that are interested to employ somebody in this topic, right? So you have the list. You can see the list of the institutes, right? And there are also the list of the members who are interested to train somebody. So this is a great start. If you are interested to do fusion engineering, you can go through this list and see if you are interested in one of these. So this is, for example, whether you apply for an engineering grant or not. Of course, these beneficiaries are, so the members are listed with their short name. And then here is the list of their long name, right? So these are their long names and the country, so sorry, these are the countries where they belong to, right? And these are all the topics that I mentioned. These are the research topics that we have, right? So these are all the topics that where we have a joint activity across Europe. You are welcome to ask us. And there are project leaders that you can contact. We can provide the information if you want to do this research in this particular field. So what you do with this information is that you go to the Eurofusion site. I again put the link already there. You can go to the members, Eurofusion members, right? And there you have it by country. So I don't know, I saw that I want to, there is something that is done by Germany, then you click on that and you have the name of the institute, IPP or MPG. You have the members, you have Jülich. This is the only country where we have 3 national labs and Karlsruhe, and you have the links, you have all the kind of access to that institute, and then you can contact them, there's some information on them, and you can see, you know, to continue the discussion to get employed or to do a master's thesis or a PhD thesis. But in engineering, I think this is a really good way of trying to find who is doing what and what are the institutes that are interested in, right? Any questions to this? I think I lost a bit, let me try to see. So if you are looking for job positions, again, based on the topic, you can look at the member institutes. We do not do hiring. We have 200 institutes and they do the local hiring, but we do the research, so we can provide you access to the project leaders and they can maybe identify also opportunities there. Okay, we can look at the PhDs as well in a second. ITER is a great source. Okay, there is a question for the student council. Are there any specific requirements needed to increase the chance of being able to join the student council?
I can answer for that. Christian not here. Then, yeah, I mean, the requirements for the council is that you are either a master student or a PhD student at one of the FuseNet member institutions. So if you go to the FuseNet website, you have a link that says members and you will see the member institutions. So the main requirement is that one, that you are a master student or a PhD student enrolling one of those institutions. And then, yeah, and then of course, we look a little bit on the background, your engagement, and yeah, and geographical distribution. We can only have one person per institution, and we of course want to be as spread as possible, but there are many chances. So I think that the most important part to keep in mind is that you have to be that master student or a PhD student enroll in a FuseNet member institution that you can find on our website what it is, yeah, who they are mainly.
All right. Yeah, so the summer schools are generally open to everybody. So there is no requirement to be a Eurofusion member, right? So it's just the funding. If you want funding, then you have to be associated with us. But generally, most schools are open to other nationalities. So there is no, and you don't have to be affiliated with anybody. I think you can just apply. I went to the Callum Summer School, which is in the UK, after my first year of university. So it was really eye-opening. And as you see, I stuck in Fusion. It was a very, very nice school. But we have other schools as well. You are welcome to apply. The eligibility will be there, but usually there are also from, like Callum, I think, has also sometimes support for like from some countries. You know, if you come from a country which is not an ITER member, you can get some support. IEA also has a school, so it's actually this week and next week, the ITA ICTP school on fusion energy, and they also provide funding for people from developing countries particularly. they have funding to travel and you know, for accommodation and so on. So yes, I would go through the list and check the eligibility of the schools. They are generally very open. The only very close school is I would say the JT60 SA school, because that is 10 students from Europe and 10 students from Japan, and you know, there is a very high, there's a very high application rate. So, but we are looking for a diverse set of candidates, so it's worth applying because it's a very good program. Okay, any other questions? Okay. So we are not, so there is a question on the finding a job in the fusion industry. I would say that generally all the institutes, most institutes in Europe speak English. You don't necessarily have to know the local language. There are some institutes which are a bit more local, but if you are interested in the nationalities of the different, so let me just maybe do one thing. So okay. So I mentioned this workforce review that we had, right? So you go to the roadmap. These are all the strategy documents. You have the long and the short version of the roadmap, which basically shows the program for the next decades that Europe wants to do, what are the key machines and so on. Then you have the knowledge management strategy, which includes the education segment, what we are trying to do, and also this human resource survey that we did. So here you can actually look at the institutes. Yeah, so this one is available on the website. Let me just go up to the top. Okay, so maybe I'll cast a bit. So this one includes an overview of the different institutes that we have in Europe. So that is, for example, the percentage of, you know, of the distribution of the different people, also including the foreign staff, right? You can see that foreign means that the country of birth and the country of the workplace is not the same. We do have a lot of international staff in Europe, a lot of nationalities. Also in engineering, technicians are a bit lower, they tend to be more local. Then we have, for example, here, if you are looking, for example, if you want to go for a institute that is very international, right? You are looking for some place. You have here the total number of staff that works in Fusion. So this is not the whole institute, this is just the Fusion part of the institute, right? And you have the number of foreign nationals, but also have the number of countries here, right? So you can clearly see, for example, Germany has 49 countries. There are not 49 countries in Europe. So clearly it's a very international environment. You have Switzerland, where 67% of the people are not Swiss who are working there. It's a very international environment, again, from 35 countries, right? So you can kind of see which are the institutes which are more, I would say, local. So we do have, like, you know, in Italy, there is only 6%. And I think France is also very low, only 3% people who are not French. Yeah, so they tend to be more local. But in the other countries, they tend to have a, you know, higher number of foreign staff. And if that's the case, you do have quite a good English-speaking community. I think generally everybody who works in an international collaboration or European collaboration generally speaks English. It's more the technical stuff or the kind of the engineering side that might be local, and administration. But we have very good experience, you know, in some countries like Czech Republic has a lot of international people, and they have a very good support of English as well. Although they are in, you know, the local countries tend to be more local, but you do have quite a few international stuff. So I would not worry about that, but we do not handle hiring. Please check the website as I shown you, you know, with the list of topics that we have. Then we also have the list here on, these are the list of, you know, different levels in the different competencies. And we again, these are the requirements from ITER, not from EFORI. So again, here is the list of the topics that we are interested in, right? These are the Eurofusion grant topic in engineering. These are the topics that currently we are interested in, or last year we were interested in. So there is a lot of topics, and in the file I've shown you before, you can find which institutes are interested. And this is the scarcity. So basically, you know, which are the ones that we really need. And then we can help you a little bit further on how to proceed with that. Okay. So you can apply for the grants as many times as you want, as long as you are eligible. We did have candidates who applied twice and they were selected the second time. So usually for the grants, we are looking for excellent candidates, and particularly if you reach the interview stage, this is already very good. That means that your application documents were in order. We need a good application set of documents to be shortlisted for the interview. And then in the interview, there is always very much focus on your knowledge of the topic you've done before and your knowledge of the topic you want to do. Make sure you know the details, make sure you know the practical elements, make sure you can identify the challenges and you show what the challenges are and how you are going to kind of, work with it. Yeah. What is the risk management? What is the risk management strategy? But also excellent candidates have a good knowledge of the neighboring fields, I would say. But we do have a dedicated information session for the grants, and you are very welcome to come and we can go through again the application process and what matters. Engineering grants are currently under review, so I'm expecting that they will be launched maybe this week, next week. I think next week would be more realistic. And usually we have an application kind of for 2 months. So if we launch it near the end of May, I would expect we would do the application deadline near the end of July. We were a bit, we are doing, this year is maybe just to say, so Eurofusion works on the Euratom, which is the nuclear treaty in Europe, and Euratom is a 5-year cycle, whereas the European funding scheme is a 7-year cycle. So we are currently at the end of the 5-year cycle from 21 to 25, and we are looking for the extension of the Eurofusion grant for 26-27. And this is why this year is a bit more challenging, because we are preparing the grant extension by the European Commission for 26-27. So anything we do for next year's have the caveat that of course we have to be extended in order to do so, but this is actually expected that we are going to be extended. But of course we cannot promise anything. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Shall we talk a little bit about master opportunities and PhD programs that we have in Europe? So the most relevant one, I would say, is the Fusion EP, and we have a few people who did the Fusion EP here, right? So the Fusion, it's called the Fusion EP. We will provide a list of the master programs. I can again share. Let me put it in the group chat. Okay, I put it in the chat. So this is basically a program which is funded by the European Commission under Erasmus. There you are. So this is the European Masters in Science and Nuclear Fusion and Engineering Physics, right? And it's a really interesting program because you have, it's funded, right? And you have different universities that you can join. And I believe you do 1 year in one country and other year in other countries. So there's the fusion science track, for example, that is quite dedicated fusion relevant topics. There are second year, you can see the different options here, right? Which track you are doing. And there are, I believe, 5 universities. And then there is also the mobility scheme. So there is, you can go to quite a few additional universities to do a mobility scheme. So I would highly recommend. If anybody did the Fusion AP, would like to say a few words about that? How was the experience?
I did.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dario. Go ahead.
But I think I'm from the old generation. So if anybody else wants to join for the new part, I'll have to say, I think that's a wonderful program. There is a lot of mobility involved. There is also a variety of topics that you can specialize depending on the universities that you take from the master, because I think the consortium is now larger than in my times. So yeah, so I think it's a wonderful part of the mobility, but it also includes going to different institutions, different schools, and different ways of learning, and also, yeah, benefiting from all the Erasmus scheme in the sense of also the social part and getting to new countries. So it's a nice program in the totality.
There is
Yeah.
no nationality requirement again for this program. So anybody can apply. These are the core members. So you choose one for each year, right? And then you have the associate partners, which are again a list of universities where you can go to, also not in the EU, right? So there is quite a few opportunities, I would say. So we would definitely highly recommend this program.
There is somebody else, because I see there are some people here also from the newest Fusion EP cohort. So please feel free to join.
Anybody wants to comment?
Yeah, I myself, I'm Dhaval. Hi guys, I don't have my camera today. First of all, thanks a lot for the session. Yeah, I was from the last cohort of the first cycle of funding. So I got to know Dario as well in Madrid when I came to Madrid for my second year. Really would encourage all the bachelor's students who are here in the program in this session to try and get to the Fusion EP Masters program. It provides a lot of opportunities, as the structure itself is designed in a way to help you do the networking. First of all, apart from the core idea of learning the basics of Fusion in very top-notch European institutions, it helps you getting to know different institutions. As Eva and Dario said, they have each country have their own specialities. Max Planck in Germany, they are doing a particular thing. In Greifswald, they're working on accelerators. If you go to Jülich, then you can work more on the material science. If you want to go into a technology section, then you have KIT. It's just an example of Germany. You come to Spain, you have different opportunities in the Netherlands. And the mobility criteria makes you familiar to different work cultures as well, because during the winter event, you go to Prague, the Wintrek, you work with the IPP staff, then you go to the Cadarache for 2 weeks. So there you are working hands in hands with people who are actually working on the ITER project. And then the master thesis program, the opportunity where you can not only do it in your second year in institution, but you can even go abroad. I have some colleagues from my cohort who went to the US to do their master thesis. So yeah, great experience. Would really highly recommend you. There are scholarships. So yeah, please go ahead and join the force, because we need it.
Very good. Thank you very much. I propose that I can go through country by country, and I can mention a few things that Germany, of course, has a very. Is that okay? I will just mention where there are some master programs and PhD programs per country, and then we will provide this information afterwards, after the seminar as well. So Germany, of course, we have very strong institutes. We have Forschungszentrum Jülich, Karlsruhe Institute of Technology, and Max Planck Institute. And Max Planck, for example, has a graduate school for plasma physics, both in Greifswald and Garching. There are a lot of universities in Austria, but I don't think they have a dedicated program for fusion. But they do have excellent PhDs coming from Austria doing fusion, and they also have a number of grantees that they received. So when I say there is not a dedicated program, that you might be doing something like, applied physics, and then you do fusion as a topic, but not necessarily, the courses might be a bit less. Belgium, of course, is very strong, is one of the core members of the Fusion EP. So this Erasmus program, they used to be, I think, leading it. Now Aix-Marseille University is leading it currently, and they are, of course, part of it. They also have a lot of joint programs. They have a joint doctoral program with the Czech Technical University, and they also have one with the Fusion EDC. So I think there is also the European Joint Doctoral Training Program in high temperature plasma physics and nuclear fusion. Okay, then Prague is very strong. So they have, of course, the Sumtrake, which is the summer school that everybody can attend. And then they have the winter school, which is for the Fusion EP students. Right? They also have a number of universities, and they are one of the unique ones that already have, I believe, a bachelor program on plasma physics and thermonuclear fusion, not just master. They also have a master program and a PhD program at the Technical University. They are also members of the Fusion EP program. They have a joint degree program with Ghent University, and they have, of course, a PhD in plasma physics. DTU, I think, also has a few research opportunities, but not a dedicated master or PhD program. There's a PhD school, for example, in sustainable energy, but not in like nuclear fusion, right? But they do have a little device, I think, called NORF, which is very good, and we got some very good strong students as well. Estonia, there are no directly related fusion programs, but there are some doctoral students that they are working with. VTT Finland, and there you have the Aalto University and the University of Helsinki. There are bachelor programs and, you know, like engineering physics, master in engineering physics, but not dedicated to fusion.
Eva,
Yeah.
are you sharing your screen? Because we're seeing
No,
here the
because
fusion.
I will-
Okay.
I will see when I can share something. So
Okay.
there is a very strong program in CA, and I'm going to put a list, I believe, which are all public, again into the chat. So France has a strong program. I hope this will work. I think the links should be working, even if I copied it from a text file. So you see, Aix-Marseille University has a very strong program. Of course, they are leading the Fusion EP. University of Lorraine, University of Paris, Sorbonne, University of Bordeaux. So these are all programs, again, that I have links to. We will try to provide you more links, right? So they coordinate the Fusion EP, and there is the École Universitaire de Recherche. I think there's a French system. So there are a lot of opportunities in France. The ULIC has the high-tech graduate school. KIT has a master program with a focus on fusion technology. KIT is very strong in technology. So there is a master. Again, I can try to provide that. Can I? Let's see. So this is when I have a link, I provide it here. Otherwise, we will send it to you later. So this is the master. This is in Karlsruhe. We will do a nicer list, right? And then we will send it to you. Then Greece, the National Center for Scientific Research, Demokritos, has also the Hellenic Mediterranean University has a master program in laser plasma application. There are also PhD programs. Hungary has a physics PhD program, physics master program at the Technical University at the BME. And then, of course, they are connected to the research center, which is called at the moment Energiatudományi Kutatóközpont. Then DCU has, I think, limited programs. I don't think they have a course or something like that. RFX, so Italy, of course, Italy is very, very strong. They do have a lot of PhD programs in fusion science and engineering. So those are the ones we can provide for you. Consortio RFX, there's a PhD program in fusion science engineering. There is, of course, Crate, and also the joint PhD program and fusion science and engineering with the University of Padova and the University of Naples, Federico II. Tor Vergata has a lot of PhD students. Politecnico di Torino has energy engineering, energy and nuclear engineering. So this is a list we are going to provide. I'm just looking at some of the ones that I can provide you a link now. Palermo has, again, that are not dedicated to fusion, they are just energy, bachelor's and master and PhDs in energy. Pisa, so I'm just going through. There's a lot of ones in Italy, I would say. There are some from nuclear engineering. I can see one here. So let me try to copy this link as well. So this is a master in nuclear engineering and Milano. I think there are some of you from there. Okay, Italy, quite a few. TUE, of course, also has one. I know that there is one of the master science and technology of nuclear fusion. There you go. So this is also one of the stronger master programs so this is the Technical University of Eindhoven.
Maybe just to mention, the guy on the picture won the Ben Abigo grant.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. If you yeah.
It's Thijs.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, nice. So they also have, for example, a great, I think there is a track elective courses. They have a very good program, very strong program as well. We have been using them as one of the examples. There are mandatory courses and master classes. So this is also quite a good program.
Yeah, that's a good program. So FuseNet, the FuseNet headquarters are here in the University of Eindhoven. So we are really close to the master itself. So yeah, I totally also recommend, because that's a large program, very well structured, and yeah, and quite big and important. So that's a good option as well.
There is
And then you
also,
can get to see FuseNet, so you can see us here.
it's a
We are
nice
on the same
city, so I
floor,
believe-
located on the same floor.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Lisbon, also a very nice place, there is a PhD program called Applause, Advanced Program in Plasma Science and Engineering. So I put the link there as well. Also, IST provides the Plasma Surf School, where you can go surfing and learn about plasma physics and diagnostics. So that's also interesting. Then the others, they are generally not necessary of, most of the, masters are in engineering, in either something in nuclear engineering or in energy, but not necessarily nuclear fusion and plasma physics. So Spain, again, Spain is very strong, I would say. They are also part of the Erasmus Mundus program. We have, for example, University that Carlos III de Madrid. I'm just trying to copy. I'm going to try to make a nicer list of this and then send it to you afterwards. But at the moment we just have so this is Spain, PhD, right? You can use. So this is a nuclear fusion and plasma physics. So they're dedicated to fusion. But the members of the Fusion EP are good candidates, I would say. There are some specialization. So KTH in Sweden also has a master program, Electromagnetics Fusion and Space Engineering. And I also have a link that I can provide. KTH in Sweden. And this is a MSc program. Okay, EPFL, of course, has a lot of strong programs. UKA has a very strong program as well. They do have quite a few links here that I can probably just copy. So there is just copy all of them. So UK has also a doctoral school. They have a skills program. So there's quite a lot of activity happening in, there's the Fusion ED doctoral school also, and there are quite a few. Okay. There are some more on the UK side. I think that's it. But we are going to try to, so I have the report, which went to the European Commission with the list, but we will provide a few more. Right, we will provide you this list of all the master and programs that we are aware of, but it should give you a starting point if you are looking for masters and PhDs. And these are programs that are directly focused on fusion, not just nuclear. Sorry, this was a bit unstructured, but at least there are a number of links. Yeah. You have to look at the eligibility of each program. Yeah. So these are handled by the local universities. I don't know about the CDT position. So CDT is this doctoral school in the UK. I don't know about funding for them. Yeah, I'm happy you found some masters. Yeah. There are also interesting, the question of whether you are interested in engineering, in physics, whether it's theoretical or whether it's experimental. There are now an increasing number of small machines. So like university tokamaks, which are, I think, really great to have because you can have hands-on experience. We have, I think, SMART in Seville, for example, in Spain, which is very nice. It's a very nice group as well. They are well connected internationally. We have North in Denmark, I believe. Then you have also Tuscia, I think, in Italy has now a small device, and they have quite a good, strong training program done by Pepe, who was at JET for a long time. So there is, I think, an increasing number of opportunities in Europe for sure. to do, you know, a good master and a good PhD, and there is a really coordinated fusion program. So I think the key thing to take away that there is a very strong coordination in Europe to work jointly. So even if you come from a smaller country or you are affiliated to a smaller country, you are part of the whole European program. So you can apply to any, you know, you can apply for funding and for participation in kind of experimental programs and activities independently where you are in Europe, you know, if you are affiliated to Eurofusion, which, as I said, there are 200 institutes, and we have funding for both PhDs, masters, we have early careers. When we do joint programs, we are also funding that with the same rate. So we do mission support and salary support for the people's time that they spend on these joint activities. So it's quite a nice integrated program, I would say. I have not seen it somewhere else yet, because usually it's done by separate institutes. But in Europe, we have a very coordinated joint program. I think that's the main takeaway. And yeah, fusion is quite exciting. So any questions? What is the type of information that would be useful for you, for example? That would be a question from me to you. It took too long, and too much information in one go, perhaps. I hope this was useful. We are going to provide you the slides with Dario, right? We are going to look through the recording, how to provide it for you. We are going to try to get you a list of the master's and PhD programs in Europe that are focused on fusion. Anything else? Okay, then I really want to thank you, first of all, Mira and Dario, for joining us, and also the really hard work they do at FuseNet, supporting the internships and the education activities and student events and PhDs. They do a fantastic job. So thank you so much. And thank you very much for joining. And I really, we were very happy that you were interested. And I hope you can find some opportunities and join us in the future. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And thank you, Eva, for organizing this event as well. Yeah.
And thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Hope to see you in the applications or events or somewhere around.